Hi, Paul Hefty here with the Triangle O football system. I want to go over our EDDs, our everyday drills with the offense. A couple key points here. Research shows that we should use a games approach, keeping it as close to game-like movements and actions as possible, situational. And then 80% of your practice needs to incorporate decision making or reads they're going to have to make in the game. 20% is your technical work or what we call basic fundamentals. Let's take a look. I believe real leadership means we have a duty to plan and to teach. So these everyday drills are to develop quality habits and decision making. You should see these habits and these quality decisions happen on game day. So we've got to make it as much game-like situation as possible. I like to start with a pre-practice prep where our QBs come out 15 minutes early if you can, whatever you've got, and just do a warm-up throwing routine. You can see there in the red, I like to do just a hip rotation, then go to a shotgun simulated accuracy game. I like to use a machine gun bubble drill, so we just work those really hard every day as part of our warm-up. And then whatever our RPO focus is, along with our PAPS drop focus. The key here is the quarterbacks, once you get this down, can do this on their own. You want to empower them. But right before we actually start our walk and talk, which is next to start practice, I like to take about 5 minutes and go through the game plan and any specifics with the quarterback so they're all locked in. I love a walk and talk. Great with your installs to start, but it's a great way to start practice. It doesn't have to be the full 5 minutes. It can be longer or shorter, but it's really a class on grass. Great to do kind of a big picture, your focus for the day. And then last here are 10 different things from Seattle Seahawks. Practice is everything. It's quality over quantity. A couple of key ones is organization. Everything counts. Be prepared. Games approach, I love that. And then again, create as much competition as possible. That's what makes it fun. I love starting practice with being active, doing what we call a stretch, then we screen and score drill. You can see we've got the coaches playing the defense, just going from the 5-yard line going in. We usually do our screen package or focus for the day, but you can just incorporate anything you want there. Also, it's great to work your 2-point plays, and you can just rotate all your groups going through. I love this because it not only gets your players clocked in mentally and physically, but it gets your coaches. You can also use this as conditioning if you keep the cycle going fast. All right, after screen and score, our phase one, though, I like to do just for 1 minute. We back up to the 20 with those groups, still going against the coaches, and run one perfect play, whatever the focus is for that day. Usually what we talked about in our walk and talk. What's going to be different here is the group will go through and then line up on the end line and bring each group in, and then we get a break and we get rolling into the next phase. So phase 1B is we're going to go into our individual fundamentals, but a key point here when we go with O-line, I like our quarterbacks to go with the centers and make sure they get snaps, and again, using their steps, whatever that RPO focus is or pass focus for the day. Also, something Derek Leonard used, a high school coach in Rochester, Illinois, where they've won 8 state championships, is he actually pairs everybody up so that everybody takes snaps. You never know. Phase 1C then is we're going to go into those position groups. On the left, you can see I like to work steps and timing with the backs and the quarterbacks on our RPO game. I want that to be consistent. The way we can add in reads then is the coach can go ahead, be that linebacker, and they start working jump cuts, whether it's a cutback or a bounce, so they work on their outs. Quarterbacks can also come up and throw then to the coach on their RPOs. With receivers, I like to do the 3 S's every day, even if it's just for a couple minutes. Work on our stance, our start, and then always our stock blocking. And then O-line, this is something from the University of Iowa. Just go ahead and line up in pairs, fit and drive for 5, working on the different alignments, whether they're inside, over, or outside, but just fit and drive, moving our feet. Phase 2A is drill 46. These are everyday drills working on our now screens. We want to be efficient, so we want to give 2 to 5 minutes every day of this. We use what's called drill 46 on the left with the skill people. We got the 4 quarterbacks going, throwing to 4 receivers. with the other two to make it 6 working on their stock block, and you can work your bubble, your smoke, your swing, and your tunnel screens. At the same time, the line then is working their now screen techniques, usually a stretch, or on our tunnels we're going to do that green and go. Phase 2B is we're going to go ahead and take whatever the RPO focus is for that day and drill it. Here's a great example of doing split zone called drill 35, where we've got the 3 quarterbacks going, so we're getting the throws to each side with the read up the middle with the 3rd quarterback. While that's going on, the line then would work on that RPO scheme, in this case split zone, against the different fronts and blitzes we're going to see that week. For our pass game, I like to use every day this drill 25, something I used in college, but I found it imperative at the 9th grade level, more important than even doing team, was where we have 2 quarterbacks going with the 5 receivers. You can see QB1, this is a 4 verts pass, for example. It's got the primary read where he's got the 2 inside receivers and can check down to the Z on the tracer go. And then QB2 on the left has the reset. He's still going to read that primary defender being the goat in the orange box on the left, but then he's going to go over and read that dark green dog on the back side with the X running the tracer go to the check down to the back. While that's going on, then our O-line with the other backs is working pass pro against the different fronts and blitzes. Last, if you're going to make 4 verts and deep choice one of your core concepts like we like to use, then you're going to want to do this DC drill every day. On the left is our outside choice, where you've got the receivers working in pairs. First going against the coach as the read with a quarterback, and then we go over to the right with quarterback 2, where the partner becomes the defender. Key when we do this, the receivers do not break on the ball as defensive players. We save that for one-on-one. On the right then is our inside choice, doing the same thing with our slots, our A receiver and our H's. You can see now we've got a real efficient way to get a lot of quality habits developed along with decision making so that they can show up on game day for us. Thanks.